Hey, what's going on? I see you there. How are you? It is Ask a Traffic Cop time. And it should be Ask a Traffic Cop with music in the background. So let's fix that up. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And we do it, well, generally 5 days a week. But I think there's going to be a couple of adjustments this week. Well, one, it didn't happen yesterday. That is without question. Can't avoid that truth. We weren't here. All best of intentions to do it. Couldn't make it happen. This life got in the way. And then tomorrow is Good Friday. Is Good Friday a good day to do a live stream? I was thinking maybe people are going to be busy. Maybe it wouldn't be appropriate to do it on a Good Friday. Yeah. And then Monday's a holiday, and I got kids at home. So it's going to be a busy, busy time. So I'm thinking this is the last show until Tuesday, which means it'll be another PM show. Wow, these After Darks are really taking over, aren't they? Normally it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m., and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, a little late night business. All right, let's see here. I got music ready to go. Library. Let's turn down the volumes. Hey, I was on the news today. At least I think I was on the news today. I was talking about stuff on the road. Well, specifically Lakeshore and how fast it is going. And yeah, it's like a racing zone out there. Okay, I think this is the song we're gonna play. Then we're gonna take it real low. Oh, it's playing out of the wrong place. Let's change that. Where is it playing out of? There we go. I was hearing it. Are you hearing it? Let me know if the music's too loud. I had to press a button. That was all. All right, let's go see who's in the chat, what's going on. Hey, if you're watching and you don't already follow, please follow. It really does help the show. And if you're watching and you're on TikTok in particular, please tap the screen till your fingers go numb. It does help let everybody know where to find us. It's all about the algorithm, isn't it? You gotta tap and show the love for the for everything to work. I should probably turn on this volume because I don't want to hear myself. That's just weird. Let's hear how loud the music is. Actually, that's not that loud. That's pretty good. Lay wants to know about unlicensed drivers, and we'll get to you in just 1 second. Let's see what Chase is saying. Chase says, "Good evening, Sean, for Alberta." And there's bad news about Alberta tonight. Welcome, Chase from Alberta. But the deal is that our friend from Alberta, Logan Grant, can't make it tonight. It was a last-minute situation where, unfortunately, his little person needs extra attention. So, yeah, he had to bow out. So it's just you and me tonight. It's the story. And we're answering your traffic and police questions. So if you got questions, I'm going to try and give you the answers to those questions. And we're going to do it all live. We might make some music. We might tell some jokes. We'll see what happens. Overtired mom, 1976. Good year. Doesn't say hey, but came in to see what's up. Yukon Atuk joined. We got Bizarro Sonia. Hello. Melody says music is subtle. Well, just leave it playing in the background then. As long as it doesn't become disruptive. I'm playing it through different methods. And then we've got Carl Freeman who says, "Good evening, Sean." Good evening, Carl. Hope you're doing well. Brandon jumped in, says, "Hello, Sean and all. Hope you all had an amazing day." It was a pretty amazing day. They go by so quickly. They really do. There's no shortage of stuff to do. So it's amazing how they just, but lots of things. I was very productive doing some business paperwork. Yes. Let's see here. We got Brandon wishing that truck drivers would stop parking in a live lane to get their Tims. There's a big issue with people just leaving their cars every which way, and that's where the magical folks who work in the parking enforcement side of the house are so important. They're the people who make that less attractive to just park your vehicle willy-nilly in the middle of the road and screw with traffic. So shout out to them, and I think they're hiring. If they, we'll check on that in a little bit. Akila Draconis says greetings and salutations as a two-part note. Howdy, Akela. Hope you're doing well. Oh, there's nothing scripted about this show, but we are going to talk to Lay's question, which is, can an unlicensed driver drive a car on private property? Now, I can't speak to every jurisdiction, but in the province of Ontario, yes, you can. Private property does not require a driver's license. Pretty weird, right? You can be charged for careless driving, you can be charged for stunt driving all on private property, but you don't have to have a license to drive the car. Yeah. Hey, look at that. The host sends a message. It looks like that is an automatic message. Nice. Very cool. It's encouraging people. I'm not even typing these messages. It says, ask a traffic cop joined. Having fun? A like is welcome. Thank you. Yes, please send likes. It's nice that these things are automatically sent. All right. Jojo says, this will be my first renewal for my license. Will I get something in the mail before summer? Well, that's a really good question. You know when your birthday is, and that's when it's going to expire. If there's any issues, you would hear about them, but I would go in advance. I think you can renew it 60 days in advance. So get in on that early. You don't want to be driving with an expired one, but you should be getting something in the mail. Very good question. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, Jojo. Sonia Bazzaro says, hi, Sean. I hope your night is going well. It is. It was a little stress-filled earlier because I was trying to design a logo. Yeah, I have to. So I've got lots of different things going on here. And one of those things is podcast production and consulting. And I needed to get some documentation done. So it was setting that up and dealing with a mail server issue. Yeah, I was busy. And all that while my kids were watching TV, and then they wanted me to go say goodnight, but they went to bed later. So they're actually putting themselves to bed tonight. It's pretty exciting. See how that actually works out. Okay. What's this? We got Melody says, Ontario drive-on safety inspection failed a commercial and customer took truck. Cops do anything with plate scanner? I'm not sure if I'm understanding exactly what you're saying. The drive-on safety inspection is a new deal. That's that new thing that I have not fully briefed myself on, but I believe there's a requirement in an electronic reporting system that deals with a regular inspection requirement. So they failed, and despite the fact that it failed and it should have been taken off the road, the customer just took off. Yeah, I'd report them. I mean, the cops, at least if you report them, then it's up to the police and the MTO to deal with it. I'm assuming it was a commercial vehicle. Did you say that already? Yeah, on a commercial vehicle. Yeah, I'd report it. They may not do anything with it, but at least you did your end of the bargain. You took care of what you required. Or even just what a good person does. So I'm with you on that. And Jojo, you're very welcome. Yeah, we talk about this, about all sorts of things. And there's new laws and changes coming out all the time. Got to get comfortable, lean back a bit here. Get the microphone ready. Yeah, it's funny how few people want to comply with the rules. They do the bare minimum to get their paperwork, but then if it's going to cost money, sometimes they go, oh, they're not into it. And I get it. Like, I don't have air conditioning right now in my truck. It broke. I wasn't going to fix it and then have it break unbeknownst to me in the freezing cold of the winter. So I'm going to go get it fixed like next week. This week, the windows are still cool. Melody says, commercial safety failed. Cop/MTO, auto plate scanning. What would happen? So if we're talking about the ALPR, automatic license plate readers, that would be something that certain lists, let me move this off to the side here, certain lists would be updated to the ALPR. But unlikely an unsafe motor vehicle. Maybe a suspended drivers, wanted parties, anything related to, Amber Alerts, any of the serious stuff is going to be absolutely alerted. But some of the less serious stuff won't be on there necessarily. And I could be wrong. They could have changed things since I left, and it's been 6 months now. Over 6 months? I've got a timer. How many days has it been? Let's see. Time counter. I've got counters for everything. It's a cool app and it's free, time counter. And it says, I got all sorts of things here. So I've been no carbs for 38 days. Well, it's not exactly accurate because unbeknownst to me, I love hot sauce and I've been having hot sauce on everything. But the hot sauce I was having that my buddy got me for Christmas, Might have had a lot of sugar in it. I didn't realize, and I was just like, this is really great. And I was pouring it on everything like maple syrup, and it had sugar in it, so it was slowing down my weight loss progress. However, I'm on the right track, and I'm back to Frank's and Cholula, neither of which have sugar. Okay, so the question was, how long since my last day? Since last day. 7 months, 17 days, almost 8 months since I was a cop. 229 days. Is that right? Come on, really? Yeah. I miss it. I do. I miss my friends. I got emotional just thinking about it. I didn't realize it was that long. I thought 6 months. I mean, what's the difference? 6, 7 months, 7.5 months. It's been a long time. But I've seen them. I've spoken to them. It's not like I'm gone. It's just I'm not there. And we're getting ready for May, which is going to be the police memorial. So I'll be seeing them again. I'm there for everyone. Okay. Melody says, parts are on order. Don't know if he'll come back or not. So you ordered parts and they took it despite you saying don't take it? Is that what you're getting at? I'm not sure how it works if they're alerted, if it's an automatic thing. Like, does the safety failing alert the authorities automatically, or is this something you'd have to manually report? Like, I don't know what the new system is. Jim Leahy says, hello from Kelowna, BC. That's awesome. How's the weather in BC right now? I was talking to friends from BC yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday because BC is where a number of the folks from the Traffic Injury Research Foundation are based. And we were chatting because I was putting up an article about the Safe Roads Challenge, the Great Canadian Driving Games. And if you want to win $100,000, or at least with like a chance to win $100,000, you just install a free app that doesn't bug you, just tracks your driving, doesn't tell the police, doesn't tell the insurance company, anonymously reports it to the Traffic Injury Research Foundation so they can see what driving is actually happening on the roads and get a really good idea of how to make roads safer. So you can do that. And every time you take a safe drive, you're getting entries for an opportunity to win $100,000. Now, I can tell you some interesting stats because I am tracking my stats. My stats are specifically my driving. Let's have a look, shall we? Can I actually share my screen with you? See if I've got to select my. So every time you do a drive, you have to say, yes, that's me driving, or no, I was a passenger. That way, if you were doing something really, you don't want it to ruin your score, you can just say it wasn't me. In any case, I want to know what my score is because I'm gaming and I want to know how to make it. I want to win. I want to be the best driver in Canada. So my last drive had a score of 82. Okay. Let's see here. I have an eco score of 80. I don't exactly know how it translates, but I do know that the higher the score, the better you're doing on gas consumption. A score of 79 on Focus. Not proud of that. Don't know why it's going like that. I think it's my gooseneck, wiggly waggly phone holder. Handling. What the heck is a handle? Oh, handling. See, I'm driving a truck and I'm driving on crappy Toronto roads, so I don't know if the handling is me or the truck or the roads. Just saying. So acceleration score 77. I could do better there. I guess I got to be more grandpa-like and accelerate slower and brake less aggressively because I have a score of 79 for braking. Cornering score of 84. Steadiness score of 74. Swerve score. I don't know how I got a swerve score of 76, but I do have 100 for phone and 100 for speeding, which means I'm not speeding and I'm not touching my phone. I've done what is this? I've done 991.07 kilometers whilst using the app, almost 1,000 kilometers. And I just started this on the 2nd. I think this is awesome. I've had 3,000 entries for the contest based on that. Okay. Oh, so what an interesting question from Coriali, 1952, who is likely going to try and go down the rabbit hole of something that they should know isn't real. But they want to know if you need a driver's license to drive in Ontario. Well, yes, because you need a driver's license to drive anywhere in North America. I want to say the world, but maybe there's somewhere in the world where you don't require a driver's license. Yeah, no, you need a license. But there's a bunch of people who think that If they're not engaged in commercial activity, then they're traveling and not driving, which is baloney. But they like to dream. They like to. It's really. What's the app? Okay, go to trafficcop.ca, and when you go to trafficcop.ca, that's my link tree, and there's a button there for the Great Canadian driving games. Check it out there. You press the button, it'll take you to a page where you can actually scan with your phone a barcode, or if you're on the app, it'll just take you to it'll give you a link to the appropriate store. So if you're on iPhone, it'll take you to the Apple Store. If you're on Android, it'll take you to the other one. Mike Franken, Pierre Jenkins, Taz, Shaylee, how you doing? Is Dr. King, how's it going? And Pierre Jenkins says, I work on a construction site, and by the site, there's no actual parking for construction, so we park in the street, and one homeowner keeps putting a no parking sign on our cars. Is this legal? A no parking sign on your vehicle? No, they can't touch your vehicle. They can't put no parking signs on your vehicle. They can't touch your stuff. They can call and complain, but they themselves don't have any authority to touch your stuff. If you know who it is, I call the police and say they keep putting like littering and touching my stuff. It might even constitute, although it's a little heavy-handed, criminal mischief. Like, leave my crap alone, especially if you're permitted to be there. I would talk to the local parking authority or police to have a conversation with them. Probably the police. Okay. Mark Willis wants to know, how do I feel, or he says, how do you feel on Canada Cop Watch? I don't know. I've seen a number. This any kind of these the folks who antagonize police, instigate stuff like open carry in the States just so they can get stopped and say, I have my rights. I have mixed emotions because generally speaking, the cops are there to do their job. And someone who's there to instigate and cause a ruckus and disrupt and waste police resources should probably get arrested. But there are some things that you're legally allowed to do, and sometimes police are called to events that aren't police matters. They have to go and investigate. They have to deal with the shenanigans. Sometimes the people are nice. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they know the law. Sometimes they don't. Listen, if you're catching bad cops doing bad stuff, I'm all for it. And nobody likes a bad cop, right? Especially not good cops. That said, there are some of those people that are just such dicks. Like they're just instigating and ignorant, and they're rude as all get out to the coppers. Obviously, if they're rude and the coppers being good, then the cop's in the right, and that makes the cop watch or the what do they call it? There's a word I'm looking for. I can't think of it. Yeah, bugger. I can't remember what it's called. It's a word, tip of the tongue. Anyway, if the cop looks bad, then that's their fault. And if they respond, I like the one where a copper gave a finger to the auditor, First Amendment auditor. That's what I was thinking of. So I think it may have been Canada Cop Watch or a channel like it anyway. Anyway, the guy holding the camera was a former cop who has a beef with cops. So when he was antagonizing the cops and the cop gave him the finger, I like what the premier said. He says, human response is what you got. I agree with that. It's unfortunate that cops are, not able to respond appropriately, or it's considered unprofessional. Because sometimes people just deserve the appropriate response. Shumreem Toronto, what's going on? Good to see you. And I'm assuming it's one of the two guys I saw today. So shout out to you. And still beautiful coin. We exchanged challenge coins today. I didn't expect anything. I was given the challenge coin because I saw them. And I said, you know what? I appreciate what you do. And he says, hang on a sec. I can't take this without giving you one. He gave me one in return, and I have that. And my wife might want to steal it, but it'll be a fight. In any case, I would show it to you, but it's not in my pocket at the moment. It's upstairs. All right. Melody says, I'm the mechanic who was a 2500 GMC. Interesting. So is this, I need to know more about the system, about the, and you allowed him to take it. But did you allow him to take it, or did you tell him? I know you can't. So Melody continues to say, we can't actually hold vehicles. Just wondering if his plate would be flagged. I don't know. If your system, this is all into the new system. So if there's an automatic reporting, it could be, but it's probably not going to happen. And if they're making efforts to fix it, yeah. It wasn't obviously a major. It was a minor. It was something, I'm assuming, emissions related, as opposed to like the wheel's going to fall off and it's a concern. Because at that point, you might have wanted to call police saying the guy's going to hurt someone. That's a different situation. But thanks for clarifying and letting me know the rest of that. It makes a big difference. All right, what do we see here? Hello from Niagara Falls. That's JMO10. How's it going, JMO? And then Marco says, what does Marco say? Sean, don't you feel the province gives out licenses too easy? Drivers should be better trained. Oh, Marco, you are absolutely correct. I am in 100% agreement that the standards needs to be far, far higher than they are right now. You know, to be able to start driving with a 40 question test, 20 of which are rules of the road and simple ones at that, and then 20 of them are like the street signs, we can do better. That's just to get your learners. Now you go to the next level, and it's still not enough. We need to have a much better system in place. Ryan, what's going on? Yeah, it's got to get better. Look at Europe, and I keep talking about Germany being the shining example. Even Ireland, like it is so much more involved to get a license, just way more. Hey, Raul has sent me 3 roses. Thank you very much for the gift. You know what? I've got to set up something here, which I probably won't be able to set up tonight, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, you reminded me something. He has great content. You should check out his channel. Let's see here. Marco says, wait. We talked about that. Okay, we covered the whole people don't know how to drive thing, yeah. And it's funny, I was talking about it today. I was interviewed by Global News. I don't know if they've aired the segment yet, but just people don't follow the basic rules anymore. The basic ones, like don't speed, don't cut people off and be an unfriendly on the road. We talked about do you need a license to drive in Ontario, which you most certainly do. Melody says high wind weather can mess that up. Are we talking about what are we talking about? I'm not sure. Marco says speed is not always the issue. Some speed limits are getting ridiculous. 40 on major roads. So here, Marco, this is actually a great opportunity to chat about that. And I'll lean back and talk about this. Do I look comfortable? The deal is that speed absolutely is important. And the reason that those major roads have been reduced is because of the number of vulnerable road users. We're talking about children. We're talking about the elderly. If those roads are in proximity to areas or places frequented by those people, well, those people have a tendency of getting seriously hurt or, unalived as a result of being struck by cars in those areas. So they reduce the speed limit in those areas to increase the chances of surviving a collision with a pedestrian. At 60, it's unlikely you're going to survive. It's possible, if you're fit, it's possible. They reduced it to 50 to increase the chances. And so most 60s became 50s, at least in the city of Toronto. And then 50s that were 40s became 30s. And 30s are the ones that are in the quietest areas where people are playing and just enjoying life. They don't deserve to be, taken out of the game. But that's why they're slow. And you know what? I got used to it really, really quick. Like when it first changed, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I got used to it. I don't speed. I got a 100% score. I can prove it. Rahul sent another 10 roses. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. That I did. He's not paying me to say he's got a great channel with great content, but he does. And yeah. No, he's not paying me. Okay. Let's see here. We got Zach with, hello, I have a question. Can you put a vanity plate along with Ontario plate on the front of your car? Waddell Engineering says, Zach, sure you can on private property only. So vanity plates are interesting. So you have to legally put the issued plate on the front and the back. So you're saying you're going to cover that. You're going to do that. Can you add a vanity plate? I've seen people who hang an obviously like a nothing to do with license plate looking tag. So if it said, I love rock and roll, that would not be something that I would have an issue with as a police officer. If you put a European license plate on the front, that would be an issue. So you can't confuse the identity of your vehicle. Jack says, why do maps online allow there to show where police are on highways? Things like Waze, things like Google Maps, which actually use the same database for reporting because they're owned by the same people. Waze was an Israeli company bought for like $1 billion. Now that all the good technology that you see in Google Maps is all coming from Waze. And the difference is, as I go down the nerd hole of what those apps do, is one will give you very direct directions, whereas Waze will give you 900 turns, but your vehicle will never stop moving, which I can totally enjoy because I don't like standing still in a car while it idles. I want to be driving. That's why I drive. So the deal is, What's the question? So why do they do it? Because it's not illegal. It's not illegal to report, and frankly, I think it's good. I think it's good when police are actually actively working, police, fire, ambulance, tows. If you can report an incident that would cause someone to slow down temporarily to protect the people working on the road, I'm all for it. But if it's to report speed enforcement, I'm not for it, which is why I always respond and say they're not there. I lie to Waze and say they've left the building. Now, obviously, one vote doesn't actually change whether they're there or not, but I'm hoping enough people will help me get people caught. See, I don't want people to get away with speeding. I want them to absolutely be caught and charged and get points on their license and feel the full extent of the law, because that's how people change behavior. They don't change behavior by getting a warning, temporarily slowing down, then accelerating again after they pass the officer to, they've avoided a ticket. It's the same reason why I don't agree with speed measurement, not speed measurement, but speed jamming and reporting. So anything like a radar detector or a laser jammer, I do not appreciate those. And they're not legal in Ontario or New York State, but they're legal in other places, like Alberta, where our friend Logan, who's currently absent, resides. It's legal there. And both of us should scratch our heads as to why. Okay. Rule wants to know if I switch my winter tires myself or at a shop. And it's interesting that you spell tires the way they do in Australia. Did you spend time in Australia, my friend? Or is it just the autocorrectness of your dictionary? So I was typing. I say typing, but I was like dictating to my phone today, and it did some weird stuff. So I'm curious now. I can do both. I changed my tires with a buddy of mine. We changed tires together as a group, as a gang. We have a mission, and but I also have historically, especially as my back was really suffering after my motorcycle collision. Because for those who don't know how I ended up being off the road after having been a police officer in the motor squad, I was hit by a car, which took me off the road, which then led to me reinventing myself as a media officer before eventually leaving the police service. But anyway, that's another story. The deal with the changing tires, well, I couldn't do it. I couldn't lift the tires. I was in so much pain for so long, and I still have issues, but working together with a friend makes it easy. So I had a company do it, and I would pull in, they'd swap the tires, they'd store them for me. I'd come back and they'd swap the tires, and that would be it. Now I use a company I just did it by myself this time, putting my winters on. But I'm planning to next time, because I need the space in my garage, storing them with my friends at Tire Butler. They'll even do the swap at your driveway. Amazing company. I should get them to get me a coupon code or something for you guys, because maybe it can help you save you some money. Okay. Jack says, off topic from traffic, but if I entreated in NBA, who do you go with? Oh, I don't follow the NBA, so I have no idea. Just sports is not my department, so I read the HTA, but not the NBA. Sorry, I'm entertaining myself with that. Oh my goodness, Evandro, my Brazilian fan, is watching again. He says, I miss your program a lot. Brother, man, I am so looking forward to hearing all your updates. So Evandro, who started out as simply a member of the audience, got inspired to get involved with policing, and he joined the auxiliary police with Peel Regional Police. And he had a dream, and that dream was to become a police officer. And I am very happy to say that he is a cadet in training with the Peel Regional Police right now. And I'm going to take full credit, whether it's mine to take or not. It's amazing what happens when you watch this show. Sometimes you get inspired. But I am so proud of you, my brother. That's awesome. I got to go to his graduation for the auxiliary police. And when's your graduation planned for OPC? I want to know. And he's been recognized. He's just an amazing individual, truly. And probably still active making cabinets, because that's his trade. He was making high-end cabinets. Am I saying that correctly, Evandro? High-end cabinetry, and then he left like a specialized business like that to go become a police officer. But I imagine you'll have some, that's the nice thing about shift work. You can do both things. So if you need your kitchen done, this is a man to talk to. Okay. Brandon says, oh, If you went back to being a cop but had to pick a partner, who would you pick? Martin Riggs, Axel Foley, or Frank Drebin, or Nash Bridges? Oh, geez. These are great TV cops. If you don't know who these TV cops are, you missed out on some excellent television. So Martin Riggs, we're talking about Lethal Weapon, and I'm a big fan, but then he'd get us into crap, right? We'd be in trouble. And bullets be flying everywhere. That's not a good way to run your day. And his counterpart there, who was like 40 at the time, he said he was too old for this shit back then. Well, I'm older than he was in the movie. Like, his character was not as old as I am now. So if I went back to policing, Martin Riggs would not be a good person for me to work with. And he had anger issues. Axel Foley's the man. I love Eddie Murphy's character, Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop. Like just icon of policing culture, movie culture, not culture, but yeah, it's just amazing. Put bananas in people's tailpipe. Come on. I got to watch all those movies again now. But Axel Foley, I got to tell you, like, I'd be likely going for Axel. And then Frank Drebin, we're talking about, it's Naked Gun. Is that Naked Gun? They're redoing that, unless the stuff I'm seeing in the previews, which, now with AI, you never know if it's true, because there are movies that have had really convincing previews that don't exist. They're absolutely made up by AI fans, or fans with AI access. Anyway, that's going to be interesting, because it's going to be, what's his name? The man with very special skills? What is his name? Oh, it's killing me. Anyway, the story is that I don't know if Frank Drebin would be someone I could work with, because as much as it's funny to watch the movie, the original character, Naked Gun, was he fluked through situations. And Nash Bridges is probably the one I have the least experience with. It played by Don Johnson, who I have respect for, not only because of his Miami Vice days, but because he was a competition shooter in IPSC, IPSC, the International Practical Shooting Confederation. He used to shoot with my buddy, and I absolutely have a respect for people who train and use firearms safely. And he did that. And I don't know if it started out because of Miami Vice, if he became a firearms guy because of it, or however it is. Mad respect for him. But I think I'd be going for Axel Foley, because I think we'd have a great time. He'd be a great partner, and I think we'd just laugh our asses off every day. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a partner where you jive, where you just jive. You just do well together. You have fun, and you do good things together. I think that would be him. And then also, because of his marital situations, I would feel good about myself. He's divorced. I'm not. I'd be always feeling better. Anyway, just saying. Stephen Bell says, "Hi, Sean. How are you today?" I'm doing well, Stephen. Thanks for asking. Much appreciated. Stephen's coming in from London, Ontario, which I am going to be making a trip out to London. And where's Mr. Steak? Because Mr. Steak, I'm coming to see you. I got a date in mind. We're coming to see Mr. Steak. It's a plan now. It's happening. If you're watching and you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer. I used to work for the Toronto Police Service, and now I don't. I left the police industry to start a not-for-profit called Better Traffic, and that's what's doing all these wonderful things. That's what's trying to make education better for everyone. Well, road education, safety education, talking to you about stuff and things. That's what I'm working on, trying to bring it across Canada. And it's with the generous support of, supporters that are helping me do what I do. So it's a new thing, but this is not the only thing I do, but it is something that I'm doing, and I love it, because it's what I was doing with the Toronto Police, and now I'm not a cop, but I'm still doing what I love, helping people. Okay. Oh, the driving app stability. Okay. Melody. Oh, Melody. Melody says, "I started out just a viewer, and now I have worked 2 days at McMullen's. And I watched your episodes. I now know exactly who you are. At least I don't think there's anybody else that they have created content with. And I saw you on. I saw you on there. If you're the you that I'm thinking of, I totally saw those episodes. Yeah. How long does it take for points on a license to reload, per se? So you start out with none, you accumulate them, and you don't want them. They stay for 2 years from the date of the offense. So if you pay the ticket the day after you get it, you're going to get those points on, and they're going to stay on for 2 years. If you wait a year because you're taking it to court, you're fighting it, and you lose, well, that's a year of the time that will be, they were never on, but they can only stay on for another year after you're convicted, or you're never convicted, and then you don't have. It is Melody. Melody is the same me, the her, the them, who was on the episode that I saw. How was it? I want to go out there and visit to say hello. They're awesome there. And I'd love to buy stuff from them, but it doesn't make sense from where I am. Where are you? You must be much closer, or you were willing to drive far, far, far away. Oh, that's so good. Did you get one of their t-shirts or their jumpers? They have some nice merch. Speaking of merch, I made a couple of hats today. So much fun hanging out with them. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Janice, how you doing? And it's that dude and Dara Delicious. Okay, we'll go with that. I'm reading your usernames. Your usernames are always fun. Shelmareem Toronto says, appreciate it. Great meeting you today. Sounds like we'll have to get you a second challenge coin. It's right on. Yes, that would work out well. My wife would like to have one for her own collection. Very kind of you. Melody says, I have a hoodie. Bought my brother a t-shirt. Lambton County. You're in Lambton County, and they are not in Lambton County, I'm guessing. Either way, it's good. Should we create? Nicholas is here. Oh, and Shamreem is on the YouTube as well. They duplicated their message on both platforms, so I wouldn't miss it. I just read it on there. I guess you were in the process of switching platforms over to YouTube. Well, thank you for coming onto this side. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, because I'm trying to get my channel up to 1,000. Not only because I want to monetize the account, it would be great to be able to have income coming from the advertising, but that's not the big deal. I want more people to see it, and as the account grows, more people get it offered to them. And why am I talking about this? Because if you know someone who's going for their G1 license, or they're going for their G2, or they just want to brush up on the stuff that they're doing, like the rules of the road, well, yeah, you can watch the show, but you can also watch the channel, because I have a playlist and I'm working on episode 3 or section 3. Where is it? Where's my book? We're reading this magical, thrilling page turner, The Driver's Handbook. And why is this important? Because it's the stuff you need to know, and it's dry as all get out. It's not a fun read. I'm not having fun reading it. Well, I'm kind of having fun reading it. It's interesting because I'm picking up little things that I hadn't read recently, and whether I've known about them and forgot about them, or never knew about them and I've learned about them, it has actually spurred some interesting conversations. And I'm recording that, and it's all happening on there with a playlist unto itself. Also, you have to know that I have like 500 live stream videos on that channel. 500, it's a lot of hours. 500, at least 500 hours, because half the time I talk too much, and I keep talking well beyond the hour that I segment to be here. And I think I put down that I would be here for an hour and a half, because that's usually what happens when I go live with the Logan. Actually, maybe I didn't even schedule it, but it is one of those things where I keep on talking. And today I'm going to try to keep it down to an hour. We're going to see. So we've done 3 hours. It's 3 hours. Logan and I just keep talking. It's a thing. Sonia Bizarro says, my daughter is excited about the G1 you do. Oh, sorry. He's excited about the G1 that you do. She's been following along. It's easier for her. That's awesome. That is absolutely brilliant. I'm so happy that I'm getting feedback. And I've had a number of people make comments about the fact that it's helping them, and they just want more of them. And here's the cool thing. One of the things that I've done is I've got an agreement with one of my sponsors who has technology that they have licensed, and it's AI avatars. It's actually a platform called Synthesia. And what they do is you can take a script, or in this case, a book, drop it in, and you can have an AI avatar of yourself, which I was goofing around with, but my beard makes it look weird. Anyway, they can read it, and I can come in and do the commentary that I would do, but they'll do the bulk of the reading, and it'll take the production time and make it way, way faster. And I'll still get to find all the things that I missed, over the years. I have my original book. I have my motorcycle book. I have my original driver's book from when I was a kid. Amazingly, I didn't recycle it. Dexter says, hey. And then Dexter goes on to say, why do cops speed in order to catch speeders? Is that a dad joke? Like, are you asking why do they speed in order to catch speeders? Because the speeders are, or maybe, I'm not, Do you just want to know why police speed? Well, first of all, police are legally permitted to speed. It's a funny story. Is it a funny story? I think it's funny. So police officers can exceed the posted speed limit at any time for any reason, any lawful reason. And that could be for just patrol. We can accelerate or cruise above the speed limit to pass by other vehicles that may or may not be speeding themselves, but we have to look inside. Are you wearing a seatbelt? Are you using the phone? We need to be able to exceed the posted speed limit. And in today's day and age, everybody's speeding, which is really gross. Everyone's going over the speed limit because nobody gives a hoot about what the law says, which is really sad. Now, so that's one reason they can speed. They can speed because they have to go somewhere, like to get pizza. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. To be able to speed to get to a priority call where someone's life is in danger, person with a pew or whatever the case may be. So they are legally permitted to speed all the time without any other justification. Their lights and sirens don't have to be on. They're allowed to speed, cops included, and cops specifically. Now, fire and ambulance are allowed to speed, but they have conditions on when they can speed. They can only do it when they're going to an active call or transporting a patient in the case of an ambulance. So they have different conditions, whereas a police officer is for the lawful execution of their duties, which really upsets some people. And ideally, nobody would speed. Just saying. But if you cannot exceed the posted speed limit as a police officer, you have no ability to see what's going on in the car in front of you if that car is in fact traveling at the maximum lawful limit, which we know that 99% of the cars are not. They're going way, way, way over. Like 150 seems to be the cruising speed on the 400 series highways. Just, it's gross. But what do they say here? Oh, okay. Let's get into this. Dexter goes on to say, I see about 200 people speeding every day, cops included. And they say, what separates a cop from civilian? Morally, genuine question. So genuine question is, a police officer is a sworn officer who has a number of tasks that they do in service to the community, the public. And the law is specifically written to give them permission to do things that you can't do as a civilian. So what makes them different? Well, the law, the power to do the job, because you have to give them power to properly enforce laws, and training. They do have advanced driver training. What else? Like morally, what makes them? They're the ones that are expected to do better. And in this case, in order to do better, to catch those that are not doing better, they need that ability to speed. I don't think it's that difficult. I don't think it's that difficult to even wrap your head around. It makes sense. If everyone was doing the same speed, you'd never get in front of the person in front of you, and you'd never know what they're doing. Well, what if they're doing the wrong thing? You got to be able to catch them. And I think we need way more cops doing way more enforcement. I was talking about specifically about Lakeshore today with Global News, and I said, I think we should turn Lakeshore into a a community safety zone, because I think there should be automated enforcement on that street because someone lost their life there yesterday, and it's likely due to speed, which they were likely involved with speeding. I don't know the specifics of the case. I didn't call my friends to say, hey, can you give me the back end info? No, I just made general statements about the driving that I've experienced and investigated on that road. Oh, Dexter, let's see here. So Dexter agrees with me. And then he says, would you agree that cops are essentially immune criminals? Technically, no, I don't. They're not doing things. First of all, if a police officer is engaging in criminal activity, truly criminal activity, because they're crooks, well, they shouldn't be police officers. There are certain things that police officers are specifically permitted to do in order to catch the bad guys. And in cases where they're going in undercover to find bad persons, people who are up to no good, being criminals, it's actually legal for them to break some crimes. And it's specifically in the criminal code. So no, they're not just immune criminals. Not technically, not at all. But I get what you're saying, but no, it's not an appropriate way to respond to them. Ryan says, do insurance rates go up if you are convicted of an offense with no points? So points don't determine whether or not insurance goes up or down. Points are for the Ministry of Transportation to determine whether or not you're going to lose your license because you've accumulated too many points, or if you're a novice driver, that's a lower number to get to that point. But they also send letters and go, you are not a good driver. You need to change your ways. It's very polite and stuff. So that's the deal with Insurance rates, it's about convictions, not about points. You could technically get 3 points you can get 3 tickets for doing something as silly as leaving your driver's license at home, and based on the criteria that they look at, they may determine that is a risk factor because you don't follow rules. So they could increase your rates based on that, which is, I think, interesting. That's what someone from the Insurance Bureau of Canada told me, or was it Ontario? Anyway, Insurance Bureau of somewhere told me that. We met up at 43 Division and we were chatting about stuff. Joe Quinlan, what's happening? Peter, how are you? Yellow Monkey has a question. And Dexter, you're welcome. Yellow Monkey says, is the rumor about police officers needing to meet a quota in a month? You want to know if it's true? I'm sure somewhere it's true. I've never met a police officer who's been able to show me an actual quota in place. Like nobody in Ontario that I've ever met said they have a quota. I've never had a quota. I was a police officer and with the police service for almost 25 years, police officer since 2000, and never did I have a quota. Was I expected to do my job? Yeah. If I went out all day and I was told go write tickets and I came back with none, that'd be a problem. But it wasn't that I had to write 5 or 20 or 100. It was go out and write what you write. And as long as you did an honest day's work, like sometimes you pull over a car and you're there for 2 hours. You're seizing their car, you're investigating, you found drugs, now you're getting into a criminal investigation. It's the road that it took you. And that's your day. You're not going to be criticized. You're doing police work. And sometimes you don't write any tickets because you got to something and you got called off of that and you got put onto something else. But you can't sit at Tim Hortons and pick your nose. So if getting in trouble for not working is a quota, well, then they have a quota. But that's not, it isn't based on numbers. I never got a free toaster. I never got sent on vacation because I wrote an appropriate number of tickets. And Abby says, am I late? No, we're just chilling, talking about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. You're always on time if you're here. Yeah. Let's see here. Riz Vision, what's going on? What exactly do you see in your car when you take my license and car insurance back to your car? Aha. So the deal is that you, when you run a license plate, you see the registration information, or also known as tombstone information for the car. So if you run the plate, you'll see the VIN, which is the vehicle identification number. It'll flip back to the registered owner, whether it's a company or a person, and they'll then be able to click and do a separate search on the registered owner. Nothing shocking. If there was a hit, it was associated with a wanted party or an expired license, or that would pop up and flash. Systems may have changed since I left, but that's basically what shows up. Everything comes on from that. Like it's if you start digging into the driver, because the driver may not be the person who owns the car. Excuse me. So you got to go look into everything that's showing up. And you go down the rabbit hole. I'm looking here, looking there, checking into insurance, calling the insurance company, or making notes to call later because you have 3 years delay charges in relation to insurance. It's an adventure every time you pull someone over. Sometimes it's very straightforward, and sometimes it's not. Stephen Bell says, I'm so glad you made me a better driver, and I like going the speed limit. Other drivers pass me. I'll let them get caught, not me. 100%, Stephen. I couldn't agree with it. I'm so glad that you feel that you've had an improvement based on watching what we do here. So awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Nicholas sent a couple of dad jokes. Brandon says, I have to call it a day. I'm up early to prepare for a family gathering, which I'm making a garbage can turkey. Well, listen, tomorrow's the day for family. This whole weekend is going to be family. And he says, speaking of food, we still have to do lunch. Absolutely, we do. And you don't have to cook. You have to go somewhere where you're not preparing food. John Kern says, unmarked police cars must be caught by automated speed camera. Is there a record of that to keep track? So if they don't want to let anybody know that it's truly undercover, then what will happen is the address that the vehicle is registered is going to get the mail of the ticket, and they're either going to deal with it, above, or just like, if they want to keep it completely unknown, maybe they'll just pay it. Same pocket. Money from the government, paying money for the government, it's kind of just a wash. So I imagine that, and I don't know this for certain, but I would assume it's as easy to sign a name and say, we're getting rid of this, as it would be to just pay it from one pocket to the other pocket, and then the cover is maintained. I mean, if I was king of Canada, that's how I would do it. I'd want my Uber secret people to be, remain Uber secret, because oddly enough, sometimes bad people work and have access to information. Yeah. All right. What do we got here? Ka says, hey. No, Ka says nothing. Ka is simply here. And then what we talked about Riz Vision. Okay. Have you ever accidentally pulled over an undercover cop and completely ruined his investigation? I've pulled over someone who was actively working, but I didn't ruin anything. They quickly identified themselves and were on their way. Is it possible to delete a CRC report after it's being made? Reports and documents that are generated by police don't go away. They're there. Is it possible to amend it or have it changed or bring new evidence? Yes, but it doesn't go away. There would be notes made, and that's where it would end. Abby says, all right, awesome. I'm glad I could make it. I'm glad you can make it too. This is a show that is all about you. It's like specifically, this is the Abby show. You didn't know, but you're here late. That's why you're just finding out now. No, this is a show that's for you. Like, that's why we do this. That's why I'm here. It's to help out and answer questions. And I'm happy that I can. If you're watching and you don't already follow, please do. And if you are watching and you're on TikTok, TikTok, tap the screen till your finger goes numb. But if you are on any platform, please share it. Share it with people you know, and especially the ones that you know need to be better drivers, that are a little confused about the rules. We talked earlier about snow tires. Well, they're not snow tires, they're winter tires, because they're for cold weather, not just what's falling from the sky. And the question is whether or not you change them yourself. Well, that was the question that was asked of me. But here's the real question. Do you have them? And if so, have you switched back to your summers yet? I haven't. I'm kind of worried it's going to snow tomorrow. Buddy of mine did a 5-hour trip north yesterday, and he sent pictures full-on snowy communities. Wow. Like, I'm done with snow. I don't ever need to see it again. I'm good. I used to love skiing, and now I just hate anything cold. I want to wear shorts and sandals and T-shirts and be comfortable. I'm a rebel. Even when it's cold out now, I'm wearing a sweatshirt at most. I don't want to wear winter crap. George, what's going on? Riz Vision says, do you ever make a game out of your police work? For example, you, Steve, and Linda all trying to see who writes the most tickets that month for a free dinner. Never have I done it where I've competed with others. Like, it's kind of a private thing. I mean, I write what I write. I'm not trying to boast about it. I used to write a lot. It was my own personal competition with myself. No, never tried to get more. Yeah. It's maybe it would have made it even more fun, but I think that would have taken, it would have made it a competition, and that sort of creates a quota situation where I'm just trying to beat somebody else. Well, I was trying to beat my max, but not by way of trying to get a dinner. Like, I just wanted to see if I could beat yesterday's score, unofficially, of course, but it had to be legitimate. But mind you, I got to tell you, sometimes I'd pull over one car, 15 tickets later, I'm leaving, and somebody could write 15 tickets in the entire day, and I did it one stop. Like, it really wasn't a competition. I wrote a lot of tickets, and they were all legitimate tickets. Frank Eric says, I took the motorcycle out. Bring it. That's awesome. My motorcycle hasn't moved since 2018. I think I'm going to sell it this year. I'm not going to be riding anytime soon. My body doesn't like it. It doesn't hate it, but it doesn't like it. More than that, my family is afraid of me getting on the bike again. Since last time I was on a motorcycle, it resulted in being hit by a car. I miss riding, though. I love it. So it was something I've done since I was 16 years old. Okay. User Lots of Numbers says, is it true you can pass a car turning left in the right side as long as your tires don't leave the pavement when there is no lane? Okay. Passing to the right. Now, here's what the law says. Let's go to the law. Stand by. It's very specific about the type of road you're talking about. Pass on right. Excuse me. Everyone's going to start yawning. Pass on right, not in safety, is the is I thought it used to say pass on right, but now it's pass on right, not on safety, or not in safety. 150 sub 1 of the HTA. $110, 3 demerit points. The driver of a motor vehicle may overtake and pass to the right of another vehicle only where the maneuver can be made in safety and the vehicle overtaken is making or about to make a left turn, or its driver has signaled his or her intention to make a left turn. It has to be made on a highway with an unobstructed pavement. Is made on a highway with unobstructed pavement of sufficient width for 2 or more lines of vehicle in each direction. Is made on highway designated for the use of one-way traffic only. What are we saying here? There's something missing here. Maybe this is not the section I wanted to read. The way that it is supposed to, the one I was looking for, had wording that would have said, pass on right as long as there's a paved shoulder. So where is that section? That still works. So if you're on the 401, you pass someone on the right, it's as long as it's done safely, it's fine. But where the heck is the? They keep on updating things. Pass off roadway, maybe that's where they split it. You can't go onto a gravel shoulder, and maybe this is the short wording only, and I'm quoting something in my head based on the actual HTA proper. But the deal is that if there's a vehicle slowing and, signaling left, and it's one lane and a shoulder, you cannot pass if that shoulder is not paved. And if you do pass on the shoulder, it has to be paved and it has to be safe to do so. Yeah. Hope that answers the question. If it doesn't, ask me again. Now I'm going down a rabbit hole. Did they change the HTA recently and amend it? Because they do this all the time, and they forget to answer or to send me a message. I have to read things all the time. Let's see here. Melody says, I have snow-rated tires that I use all year. Used to do snows when the truck was newer. So I'm not a big fan of the multi-use. Now, there are proper all-weather tires, which is different than all-season tires. All-season tires are sadly 3-season tires, where all-weather tires is sort of a new thing, and it has truly compounds. The tires divided, so it has compounds that do different things and are ideal for different stuff. However, it's using a would you rather use a full tang knife or a Swiss Army knife to do heavy chopping? You want a full tang knife, and you don't want to be ruining your knife. But what I'm trying to say is there are tools made for different things. Use the best tool for the job. So this is where I say winter tires for winter, 3-season tires for the remaining. That's my plan. That's my thing. But snow-rated tires good. But it's really not snow specifically. It's the winter. It's the temperatures. You want to keep your winters on until we're sitting on average over 7 degrees, and you want to switch into your winters when it is below 7 degrees, sustained for a period of time. Right now, it could snow like tomorrow. Okay. What was your favorite traffic infraction to enforce? Stunt driving. I used to love it because where do you get to actually take someone's car, give them a suspension, and say, you're an idiot? The stunt driving is that charge. So it's the one where, regardless of whether they hire a lawyer, regardless of if they plead down, negotiate it away, they've already paid the fine. They lost their car, they paid for towing. You hit them, and hopefully it changes their behavior. Because what happens with most other things, and by the way, that's not even saying that Sean likes to do it because of that. It's the reason that administrative penalties were put into place by the government, because they said prior to the suspensions and the impounds, people were just playing the game in court and getting away with it. So they had to make it more serious. And I love that. I think they should bring it in for cell phone use. We should take their cars and take their licenses right there, not based on conviction, right there. 100%. So I like that there was real consequences that happened right then and there. Yes, that's what I was. Okay, so user lots of numbers says, I thought if you used a gravel shoulder, it was illegal. Yes, that is correct. Gravel shoulder illegal, but a paved shoulder legal. It says always in my thoughts when it comes up. Cool. Mine are proper mountain and snowflake, all weather tires. Right on. And it's usually for the pickup trucks that have those, right? I'm assuming you're in a pickup or a full size. I'm assuming, because that's what I would drive. Oh, really? So Frank Rick says paved single lane highway around Ottawa has signs indicating no passing on paved shoulder. Despite the turn, interesting. Well, a sign trumps general rules anyway. So if you have a sign that says no passing, that sign's in effect for 150 meters from where it's posted. Horace says, thanks. Thanks. That's a really smart way to enforce the HTA. I like it. We're talking about, I think that was in response to my explaining why I liked the stunt driving stuff. And you got to think about, just to add on to the stunt driving spiel, stunt driving is that offense that is extreme. It's not just someone doing 10 over. It's someone doing 40 over in a speed zone with a speed limit under 80, or 50 over in a speed zone over 80 and above, or 150 anywhere. Like, we're not talking about like baloney. We're talking about serious offenders, people who, in the event that they were to hit somebody, would destroy them. Like, it would either end their life or negatively impact it or change it for the rest of their days. Like anything racing, any kind of that behavior. But some people don't realize how easy it is. It's a stunt drive. Drifting donuts, that's stunt driving. Jackrabbit start, where you make a left turn in front of the oncoming traffic before they've had a chance to go, that's stunt driving. All have the same consequences. Melody says, as a professional, I preach buying 2 sets winter and summer, buy rims to save in the long run. 100%. Oh yeah, that's great advice. I 100% believe in what you're saying. That's what I've been doing forever. I have my steels with my winters. I have my fancy schmancy rims with my all seasons, or really I'm not even all seasons anymore. Now I'm like a proper like comfort tire. It changes everything. Where the rubber meets the road, that is what is going to be the only thing protecting you, maintaining your traction, ensuring that you can get out of harm's way when you need to. Like, it's where the rubber meets the road. Let's see. Melody says 2012 Sierra with BFG trail terrain. They will outlive the truck. Right on. Night Raven just jumped in. I think Night Raven just jumped in. Okay, what do we got here? I got to manually scroll up to see what's going on Instagram. Okay. Oh, we got Abe Griffin follow. Thanks for the follow. Esther Ontario. Amanda Panda, what's going on? Riz Vision says, so everything shows up on my record, like the time I made a bunch of clay mail ding dongs and put them in 18 Fitzgerald desk. That's on my record. Everything. Oh, Nadine was Riz Vision's grade 3 crush. Good to know. So anything that happened with you behind the wheel of a car or motor vehicle, that's what shows up. Because what happens is, if you don't have a driver's license, the wonderful province of Ontario will generate a province number for you, a provincial driver's license number. And then what will happen is you will then have that number for the rest of your life. And when you're actually licensed, the licensing information will show up after your conviction. It'll show up in a list. But I can look up, or a member of the police service or government can look up everything since before you were licensed. G. Banyan says, did you answer my question? Yeah, yes, I did. Riz Vision says, how many stunt driving charges have you made? I don't know. I haven't kept track of it. G. Banyan says, hello. Everyone thinks that this is an instantaneous thing. Ask a question, get an answer. No, there's reading, and I'm looking at multiple screens. So no, it's not an instant response thing. And if you bounce out after you ask your question and come back later, you missed it. You can go rewatch the entire episode on on YouTube, because it's there. Every question's archived forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Okay. We got Riz Vision says, has there been a case where someone was only going 147 on a 400 highway, but you charged it for 150 because you love charging people with stunt driving? No, I've never faked it. If anything, I gave people some grace. So if you were at 150, I wouldn't charge you for stunt. I'd drop it to 149 because I wouldn't, on the chance that there was an error, I wouldn't ruin your life. But if you were doing over by 2, so 152, 153, you're gone. It's done. Kevin jumped in with his Lexus logo. How's it going? And Shumofo? I can't say your name. Shumimofo. I don't know. Okay. Thanks for the follow. And Ricky, what's going on? 73 joined. What's happening, everybody? If you're watching, you don't know who I am. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, and I do it all the time. Yeah, like 5 days a week, but it's really 7 days a week, but only 5 days a week online. The question is, do I do this tomorrow, or do we take a break until Tuesday? I'm thinking we take a 4-day break. I don't know, just thinking. Maybe I'll do other stuff. I got so much to catch up on. Maybe we pause the lives till Tuesday, take the long weekend, have the win, spend time with our families, then come back and do this again on Tuesday night. I think that's what I said earlier, and I think that's a good answer. Panda Poe, what's happening? Hey, how you doing? Jake, John Kearns is on YouTube. We're going to come back to you just 1 second. HMAC20S. I don't know how to read your name. So if you got a warning like 20 years ago, you would still see that. Warnings are stored. Well, 20 years ago, they weren't digital, but now that a warning will stay for 20 years in the computer system for the police service, not on your record. But if you got a conviction, it would be on your record. Okay. John Kern says, unmarked police cars must be caught by automated speed cameras. Is there a record of that to keep track? Well, if it's registered to the police service, yeah, So what happens is if you get caught by a speed camera, you're gonna have to answer it to what you were doing and when you were doing it. So let's say at 2 a.m. on a Friday night, police officer goes through a red light or speeding. They have to answer to what they were doing, and you better hope they have camera footage or notes in their book. John goes on to say, a car enthusiast builds a car in the backyard. What is the requirements to make it street legal? Well, build like ground up. It has to certify. You'd have to apply for a VIN, and you'd have to certify to make sure it's safe for the road. Okay, we were just talking about passing and turning and passing. Okay, let's see. We've got Surat. Oh, wait. First, Canadian Knight says, is using the exit lanes where the 400 exits or turns into the 401 illegal simply to skip traffic? So you're talking about the merge lane for on and off. So you go into that lane that's open with the intention to get off the highway, but just the last minute you jump back in. It's not specifically illegal as long as you don't go over a bullnose. However, it's a really crappy move to not really go much further. You piss everybody off and you're actually contributing to traffic going slower. You get up ahead, make 20 enemies, maybe 30, and then cut back in, which then screws up traffic everywhere. Like, don't do that. Don't be that person. But I wish it was illegal, but I don't believe there's any charge that would be appropriate, as long as it was done safely. Sarat says, if someone has a mental health panic attack, which leads to a crash with no other cars, can there still be charges? Yeah, it's careless driving. It could be a medical, but it's unlikely it would be careless. I would think panic. Maybe I'm wrong. I think that you need to be in control of yourself enough that when you're having an issue like that, you need to pull over and be safe. And I don't think you can say, well, I was having a panic attack and that justified crashing into anything. I certainly would lay the charge of careless. And maybe you'd have a defense for court to say that it was a medical thing and then they could exonerate you or choose not to proceed. But then you shouldn't have a driver's license. Then you should be medically prevented or prohibited from having a license if that was something that could happen again. Surat, thanks for the follow. Frank Eric says, I like Aaron Urquhart explaining the encryption codes of parking signs in Toronto. Encryption codes is a really good way to put it. It's not always straightforward. Pandabos asks, is it illegal to have anything hanging from your rearview mirror? You can have something hanging from your rearview mirror. It cannot obscure your view. If it prevents you from seeing outside clearly, it is an obstruction that is illegal. It could be a $110 ticket. Just saying. Riz Vision says, is it true there can be street racing, but you and your friends don't do anything until you see them park somewhere? No, there's nothing that says I can't get right up in there and not wait till you pull over. But by waiting, it's strategic and it makes sense for safety. But yeah. Sarat wants to know if careless driving is a criminal charge or traffic ticket. It is a traffic ticket under the Highway Traffic Act, not a criminal driving charge. Criminal driving would be dangerous operation. That would be quite extreme for a panic attack. Wouldn't be. I don't think it would be appropriate. You would have to say that you intentionally drove a certain way. Like if you had a panic attack that made you want to run over people, and you were like doing things intentionally to hurt people or to that would be known to hurt people, maybe a criminal code charge. Let's see here. Canadian Knight says, would you ever pull someone over for 10 over? I have. In a 30 zone, 10 over is way over my threshold. In a 60 zone, 15 over is where my threshold is. Unless it's really, really slow. And they're just doing like 75 or 70. So yeah, speeding anytime, like 10 over is probably the slowest or the smallest margin. Well, at a 30, I might even pull you over for like under 10. But probably 10. But you should never bank on that because, in a 30 zone, 5 over is too much. Speeding, not allowed. Canadian Knight says, expensive ticket and like 6 points, I think. If we're talking about careless driving, is it $3.95? Let me see. I always forget this. Or I think I forget it, then look it up and go, careless driving is $4.90, not $3.95. $4.90 and 6 demerit points. Sarat wants to know if cell phone use while driving is very common and does it often cause car accidents? Yes, it's common. People are totally addicted. Yes, it causes collisions. It's about on par with, it's actually just based on the number of offenders. It's like impaired driving, but everyone's doing it. It's gross. It's gross. So gross. Al Safar says, hey, Sean Shapiro. Hello. How's Al Safar doing? I saw a device some cops have it that shoots a tracker that sticks onto the car they're going after. So now the cop can back off, the criminal can calm down, and y'all wait until they hide out, or until they're at the hideout. Yeah, that was tested by the OPP. It was like a Nerf launcher. It was like a water bottle with a sticky glue bob on the end of it, and it is entirely a great idea that I don't think worked very well. You had one shot, maybe two, and you were lucky if you were able to line up and actually make it stick. They should use like a harpoon gun or something like something really, really with contact. Let's see here. Rups wants to know, who do I call for reckless driving? Like to do some reckless driving? Listen, if it's reckless, if it's truly dangerous, we have careless and we have criminal dangerous. But if you're talking about reckless driving, which is an American charge and likely somewhere in between careless and criminal dangerous, call 911. That's someone who's absolutely at risk to public safety. If you are scared, if you think people are going to get hurt because of the way this person's driving, call 911. Sarat says, I listen to News Talk 1010 and the host often mentions you. Not sure if you knew that, but they do. So if you're talking about Jerry Agar, he's a good friend. We've become friends because I often join him on his show. And on Wednesday of next week, I'll have to reach out to them and maybe I'll join on again. Usually we connect on the air. He joins me here on TikTok and I join him on the air and we answer questions for the public. And he's awesome. I love guesting on his show because he's a lot of fun to hang out with. Actually, I got to call him up and actually hang out with him. I want to see his Indian motorcycle that he bought. Username BG says, would you ever consider becoming a police officer again? I think about it every single day. No word of a lie. Every day I think about it. It's something that is deep in my heart. I'm a cop at heart always. I was a cop before I became a cop, and now I'm just a guy who used to be a cop. But it's who I am, and it's doing that, helping people is very important to me. Making the world a better place is important. Okay. How far can someone enter the turning lane who is going to turn left at a traffic light. Well, it depends on the design of the individual intersection. But yeah, have you ever heard of the S-turn? You should execute an S-turn. That's where you are in the turning lane and you want to zigzag over, so you're looking at the turning lane of the traffic on the other side, and that gives you visibility beyond the vehicles that are stacking up to turn. Gives you the ability to have a look at what's happening and coming down the road, so you can safely make that turn. But it depends on how far into the intersection you can go, is based on the size of the intersection. Sarat says, give you compliments. Well, thank you for the compliments. I will take them. I appreciate you. Canadian Knight says, I've seen people stick their phones in their hat to be hands-free. I have seen everything. If they touched it to put it in their hat after dialing it while they're driving, they're still in violation. They touched it. It has to be mounted in the car and not hands-free. It can't be, loose on the car. It can't be on your lap. Your lap is actually being found to be using it. Carter says, hey Carter. Rupp says to report. Who do you call for? Yeah, you call 911. Rups wants to know what the connection on cops and donuts is. Well, it all started out by being the way to get cops to come in on those late night 24-hour diners that were constantly being robbed. So they said free coffee and donuts to cops, or at least very least free coffee, and then maybe the donuts just happened by natural proximity. They offered free stuff to cops. Then cops started hanging out. When the cops were there having their coffee, the criminals didn't show up. And now that's not really a thing anymore, because A, police aren't supposed to accept anything for free, and B, there's nobody to hang out and have coffee with, because we're running call to call to call to call to call. Police are overworked, and there's just not enough of them because there's so much work to be done. That's why people wait so long. We need to have so many more cops. Our cop to pop ratio is horrible. We need good candidates. Okay. Melody says, test drove a cruiser, went through 2 speed traps, was tempted to be silly, but refrained. Well, that's good. There is something to be said for driving with lights and sirens on, though. If you haven't tried it, that's something else. Sarat says, oh, very cool. Sarat says, why did you retire? You look young, maybe 45. Well, I'm 50, but thank you. I appreciate being 45 in look with my gray beard. But I'm 50, and I left to take care of family. Family first. And as Bernhard said, family first, you made the right decision. Yeah, but it's hard sometimes. I made the right decision to take care of family. I'm needed here, but it's still hard. It's an emotional thing, because I loved what I did. And it's very rare when you find something that you love like that. Yeah, I'm lucky to love my wife and my kids like that. But in terms of a job, it's very, very, well, actually, it's a very different love. I don't love my job, like I love my wife and my kids, but you know what I'm saying? It's a passion thing. When you do it, when you're getting up in the morning and you're going to say goodbye to your family, not knowing if you're ever coming back, and you're doing it because you want to serve and you want to do good things for others, and it's very rewarding. It really is. But so is what I'm doing right now, talking to you. Okay, let's have a look here. Riz Vision says, is it true I can be a criminal cross the border and I'm still scot-free, or is that just in the movies? When you cross a jurisdiction, no, we have reciprocal agreements. You can actually have hot pursuit over a border and continue pursuit. It doesn't just stop. Now, I don't know about U.S., like the Dukes of Hazzard style, where they don't have jurisdiction. That depends on whether they cease to be police officers outside of their geographical border. In Ontario, police officers have authority across the entire province. And if you were going to radio ahead, you could do something interprovincially if you needed to. Because it's hot pursuit, baby. Hot pursuit. Username BG says, how does traffic services work? Do they strictly do traffic-related issues or all cops-related things? Traffic services is the Swiss Army knife of policing in Toronto. They are the specialists when it comes to Highway Traffic Act investigations. They are the people who investigate collisions and are the experts when it comes to impaired and major cases like fatalities. They also have the motor squad and all sorts of specialty units. So they are very much the experts, but they're all cops first. They're cops who either had experience in divisions or, at very least, know all sorts of things that beyond that of traffic. You don't become a traffic cop and one day hope to become a cop. You become a cop, and then the lucky and the brave become traffic cops. And that's why we have motor squads. You know that? I should say that's why we have the ETF. I screwed up the joke. We have the ETF because not everyone can ride a motorcycle and be a traffic cop. Okay. Or is it not? Yeah, that's what it was. We have the emergency task force, like the SWAT team, and we have that because not everybody can pass motor school. That's the joke. I still screwed up. Okay. Do they only work in the office or on the road too? Traffic services is one of the largest police units in the city, and it's on the road, in the office, everywhere. Okay. Canadian Knight says, really, but Tim Hortons gives free coffee to free. So, yes, some Tim Hortons do give free coffee, and some officers do accept free coffee. My practice was to pay for the person behind me or make a donation. Some locations were insistent, like, no, we don't want your money. It's uncomfortable, and sometimes you actually like get into a position where it's like, okay, I guess I'm taking a free coffee, but technically by rules you're not supposed to, and you're not. It's an inducement, like a gift, so that you will do something for them is not allowed. But I've gone for breakfast and I go to pay and they said someone took care of it. Like, who? They left already. Like, what do you do with that? It's very kind. It's very kind. So there's some really good people out there. It's nice. Melody says running lights and sirens would be fun. Maybe someday. Yeah, it's definitely it's stressful. Changes your outlook on everything. Can MTO do radar and pull over regular vehicles? They can. They have the authority, but they generally, as a policy, don't. Bernhard22 says, Florida Highway Patrol has a new Corvette as a vehicle. I saw the video. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, it was Nick Off Duty who made that video. It's awesome. Nick Off Duty is a guy I met actually in Florida last year when I was speaking at the SMILE conference. That's the Social Media and Law Enforcement Conference. They're in North Carolina this year. They've asked me to speak at the event again, so I may have to go there, and I assume Nick will be there, so I'll have to talk to him about his experience with the Corvette. Melody says, test driving MTO Cruiser and pulling out behind a fast-moving transport was fun, too. I imagine so, as everyone's pucker factor went up there. Let's see here. What is this? Spider, what's happening? Okay. Sarat says, a friend of mine forgot to renew her license and she got found out. Do police monitor license plates? Yes. Absolutely do. And we have automatic license plate readers now. Stephen Bell says, my wife is passenger. Can she read a text message to the driver but not show the driver the phone? Just read the driver the message? Wondering. Yes. That's what your co-pilot is supposed to do. They do the reading and surfing and getting and typing in addresses, and they're the controller of the phone when you are driving. That's the way to do it. Okay. When did TPS bring the motorcycle out of storage after being away for the winter? It's usually the 15th of May, I think. Just as a guide. Depends on the weather, though. So they start, getting out there and training. Sarat says, if a phone is mounted on the dash, can it still be touched when driving? If it's mounted by securely mounted, you can touch it for the purposes of answering or hanging up. I'm doing this because the slide of answer and hang up. But if you with the button pressed, whatever it is, answer and hang up. That is it. You can't set destinations in your GPS. You can't look things up. You can't Google. You answer or hang up. That's it. But here's the deal. If I say, hey, SIRI, or hey, GOOGLE, your phone will wake up and you just say, call mom, call dad, dial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, you have no reason to touch it. And you can also say, hey, dial mom on speaker. You don't even have to touch the speaker button. Just tell it where you want to direct the call, like through what mechanism with speaker. Speaker. Let me just see what's going on here. Can't read my face. There we go. Okay. How bright is too bright? I don't remember the lumens rating, but there is a rating, and I have to look it up. So sadly, I don't have it for you right now. Sarat says, okay, so pull over to look at Google Maps. You can have, although it's an argument I have with my former partner because he says it's not allowed, and the general policing says it is allowed, and we're going to go with the average here until we can prove it 100%. But we've long said you can have your map app on. It's the one permissible app, but you can't touch it. So set it before you get on the road, and then leave it in the mount with your map program on. And you can actually say to your map program, hey, SIRI, hey, GOOGLE. I don't want everyone's phone to go crazy. So you can say, plot a route, take me here. How do I get to 123 any street? It'll do it. You don't have to touch anything. Yeah, people can use voice, 100%. Sabrina Elmgreen says, love your content. Super informative in a fun way. Glad to see you on TikTok. I have never left. And thank you very much. I really appreciate that you enjoy it, and the feedback is awesome. So thank you for letting me know that you appreciate it. It's great. I love it when people find value. So important to me. Okay. What do you see on your computer but just reading the license plate of a car? Mostly Space Invaders. Nicholas Rizzi had some dad jokes, and I'm going to wrap up the show because it's going to be 1:30. It's the hour and a half, which is pretty much the shortest night live I do, is an hour and a half. But sadly, Logan couldn't be here, and he didn't get to see the version of the sticker I made for him. So if you were here on Tuesday, you may have heard that he somehow compounded two words. Well, lights and sirens became Lyrens. And Lyrens is just a freakishly awesome, funny thing, according to me. So I said, we need a sticker for Lyrens. So I went and had ChatGPT create a sticker. I am no artist. And where's my sticker? Here we go. So this is what ChatGPT created. Lyrens. And I want to totally make that sticker. And I think we should sell stickers whenever we have funny stuff that we create. But then I saw an ad from Sticker You, I think, or Sticker Mule. And they have every once in a while these cheap sticker deals. And I thought, well, first of all, the promo's on a round sticker. So this is what I made. Doesn't that look like Logan? Hang on. Let me get closer. Oh, closer. There we go. Lyrens, where lights and sirens meet. So for anyone who doesn't know why that is so awesome and who that is depicted in the picture, well, Logan is a sergeant peace officer in Brooks, Alberta. He's a traffic municipal enforcement guy. Excuse me. And he has a cowboy hat and he has a red beard because that's what he looks like in cartoon form. Oh, yeah. Surat says, hopefully you guest on News Talk again soon. Not News Talk 1010 again soon. I think Wednesday. I think I'm up for a Wednesday. I'll send a text, but usually it's every other Wednesday. I've been doing it for years and years. I say that years and years. It's actually like 5 years. I think 5 years. Canadian Knight says, why does a Tesla have to have a green plate to use a carpool lane alone? Because in order to qualify for a green plate, you have to be a fully electric, plug-in electric, or plug-in electric being hybrid. No. So it's fully electric, which is plug-in electric. Hybrid plug-in. Can't have a hybrid by itself. It has to be a plug-in hybrid. Hydrogen power. And that's going to change over time because when everyone has an electric or plug-in electric, well, those won't qualify for green plates anymore. The Cybertruck, although it's plug-in electric, fully electric, does not qualify to use a green plate and thus cannot be solo inside of that lane. The Lightning, F-150 Lightning, does qualify. So, yeah, you have to have the green plate to qualify. User lots of numbers, but not a lot of IQ says, cops are just money collectors. You have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. And I was slagging you there because it's a stupid statement you just made. Cops are out there taking money. Not really. It's holding stupid people who break laws accountable. If you're going to break the law, you don't deserve the money in your pocket because you're saying, come take it from me because you can't do the simplest thing like follow the law. So if you get pinched, it's your problem. You got no sympathy for me. They're not just taking about money. Problem is they're giving you a ticket. It just pisses me off when people go with this money collector baloney. And my wife says, you shouldn't react that way. I'm like, too bad. So here's the deal. What would you prefer? Would you like to make big rocks into little rocks? Get you some jail time to deal with your fact that you can't follow the rules? No, you'd much rather part with your money. And hopefully the sting of paying that fine will have you not do it again. It's motivation. Police are just motivational motivators. That's what we are. Love the silliness. Actually, I like trolls. They kind of make me happy. Because if this user who doesn't even put his real name in or any name wasn't here to make that statement and generally piss me off, I wouldn't have addressed the fact that cops are there to change behavior and make the road safer for everybody. It's not about money. We don't care if there's money. We just want you to stop doing it. And not every interaction is going to result in a ticket. But obviously your attitude and presence, we'll go with presence, has determined that people just want to give you tickets. I'm going to assume that that's what it is. Let's see here. Oh, Melody says neither HDA nor Ontario safety standards regulates lumens. Well, that's really? Is it color brightness then? It must be then color. Canadian Knight says, but I pay your salary. LOL, sorry, I had to. I love it. People used to freak out because I was a police officer doing this. Now I'm a private citizen doing this, and no one's paying me anything. There are contributions being made to the Better Traffic. It's the Organization for Better Traffic Safety and Education, and that is a not-for-profit in the province of Ontario. And or is it federally? We might be federally incorporated. In any case, the deal is that I'm not getting paid from that. We're trying to create something bigger. I'm not getting paid. It's going into a thing so we can make this happen. It's cool. By the way, if you know anybody who wants to help pay for stuff, let me know. We're looking for sponsors. We've got some amazing sponsors. We have Barrett Legal, and we have Diamond and Diamond Lawyers, and we're talking to some cool brands that want to help us out. I really want to get a dash cam brand, and I'm trying to buy some dash cams at deals to give them away. I was looking for a box to show you, but I can't find it. I'm looking to talk to some big brands to help us. We want to do great things, need some great big help to make great things happen. I'm going to be talking to a group of I'm pitching to talk to a bunch of newcomers for free, not to take any money and not to sell anything. I just want to help newcomers coming into the country, make sure they get their licenses properly, make sure they know the stuff before they do the stuff and don't get in trouble for stuff. Justin says, car was stolen, recovered, all police paperwork was done, but pulled over because my plate says it's stolen. So here's the deal. Someone done screwed up. And what it's called notifying CPIC that it's been found. And it's a simple thing. Like they just change it and you have all your records and they say, no, I'm actually the person that they need to take it off of CPIC so that you won't get pulled over every other minute because it's a pain in the ass. Make it into a mug. Make which one? Oh, make the Lyrons into a mug? I think so. There's a couple of companies where you can upload a graphic and then you can just order whatever you want on it. You make t-shirts, make whatever. I made some hats today. Actually, I did that here. I laser engraved these patches and I press them here because I can. But I've only made this hat that I've been wearing for months and two others. So I got to give a couple hats away. Okay. Sarat says, thanks, I'll check it out on Wednesday. What time usually do you guest there? So when I'm guest, it's usually 9:35. It's either Wednesday or, well, it could be any day, but generally it's every other Wednesday, and sometimes I'll have something going on or I'll have something going on and Wednesday doesn't happen. So we make it for the Friday or the Thursday. But I if you follow me on Twitter at VoiceOverCop, I announce it there. I usually promote the show the day before and say tomorrow I'll be on with 1010, and it explains at 10 o'clock we go live, at 10:35 we're joined by Jerry Agar. That's what happens. You can watch it here, and you can listen to him here, or you can listen to it on the radio, whatever you prefer. Sarat wants to know why the Cybertruck doesn't qualify for green plates. I believe it's based on maximum weight to qualify. It's over the maximum weight. I said I was saying goodbye, and I'm still here. It's just amazing. Just saying. I'm having fun, so don't feel bad about it. Autobial, how you doing? Let's see here. Just, top viewers right now are ranked. Autobial, Melody, and then Canadian Knight and Sarat and Bailey. I think you guys are the top. The tops for today's live. Okay. They should just take the car and turn it into a cube. I would love. Wait, which one? Panda, are you talking about a Cybertruck, or are you talking about taking people's cars for people who violate laws and just crush them? Crush them! Melody says, color aim, reveal an object at 30 meters on low beams. There's no glare for others. So color, maybe it's color temperature that's the maximum, because you can't project blue light. Which I think is at color spectrum 8,000? There's some number somewhere I found once. Canadian Knight says, is Kerry Schmidt still a regular cop or a social media only? He is a sergeant, and he is media relations and recruiting. He's not a patrol guy that I'm aware of. What is this? Where? What just happened? Is the money to pay your salary? Which money? Oh, the money for support? Well, we're looking for whatchamacallit, for support from sponsors. Well, part of it's to get us software, help drive programs, because we want to actually get into schools, create coloring books, do all the stuff that nobody else is really doing. We want to create programs. I want to be able to hire staff. We want to up the production value and get out and do stuff and things. I'm very fortunate that Barrett Legal has given me office space, has given me like a lot of support that way. And then I've not taken a penny for myself. One day, maybe the organization would be able to pay me, because oddly enough, I do need to pay for food and stuff. But at this point, we're bootstrapping it. I'm paying for everything myself, and with the assistance of others. But if I need something, I go buy it. Thank you for the gift, Autobiel. Panda Post says yes, but I don't know the context of that. I think, I don't know. We're moving on, because username Big says yes. What? French Cowboy Express says, if I'm on my property, am I required by law to wear a helmet on my side-by-side or four-wheeler? No, it's not. It's if you're on private property, it's not enforceable. On public property or on trails, it is enforceable. What do we got here? But it's really a good idea to wear your helmet, because it's smart. And you keep full face bugs out of your teeth and stuff. Surat, you're very welcome. Surat wants to know what I think about self-driving cars. I have mixed emotions about them. I've driven some. I think it's fascinating and scary all at the same time. Oh, Canadian Knight says, yes, please crush all Cybertrucks. Such an eyesore. I kind of love them for their ugliness. They're so ugly. They're nice. And I have a deposit on one. I don't plan on getting one. I thought I might want to get one. They're so spaceship ugly yet cool because of it. And I kind of want one with full self. I wanted a foundation one, but then I saw it and I $150,000. I'm like, Anyway, just saying. What is this? Oh, okay. Panda Post says, yeah, people who get stopped for really bad driving should have their car crushed. Thank you for clarifying. Melody clarifies. Hey, Melody, I think you need to guest star on the show. What are you doing? You want to come join the show? You've been on the McMullen side of things. Maybe you should be joining here. We need a mechanic. We don't have a mechanic. Melody, DM me, please. We're going to have you on the show to answer all these questions. I think you'd have fun hanging out. What do you think? Are you in? Are you down? Okay. Melody says, light has to be white. We use a piece of paper. It can't be shown as a different color. Very cool. This is great information you're providing. Spider has put so many things on screen. Like, he doesn't like electric vehicles because he's got, and he recognized the Logan sticker, and oh my goodness, I'm scared to read the dad joke you put up. Maybe I think I have to leave it there. TPS Roberts, how you doing? I'm an accountant. I am a money collector, but Ice Cube and Dr. Dre never wrote a song about me. It's true. Riz Vision's not only an accountant, he's a comedian. I mean, literally, he's a stand-up. Spider wants to know if I want to hire him. I want to hire people who can help me make this show better, but unfortunately, I have to have a budget, and I'm not there. I don't have the funding yet. I also want to be able to help. I'm publishing a book soon. I've been talking about it for a long time. I've written the book. It's just being edited now, but it's all about social media, actually. Okay. Autobiel says, thanks for all you do. You are extremely insightful. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. How do you support your family if you don't have a job? So I have savings. I did work for a long time, and I am doing work. I am consulting in the social media space. I'm also involved with podcast production for others. So, but a lot of what I do is helping people develop authority online. So, I speak to those who need to be spoken to. I speak at conferences. I am a public speaker, as well as an online speaker, but not a music speaker, because that would be weird. Or a Bluetooth speaker. Anyway, just saying. Melody says lights are very regulated. Has hazed over headlights are common fail. Oh, very cool. We're gonna have a lot of fun to talk about stuff like this. Okay. And Canadian Knight says he has a pension from TPS. Actually, I left really early. I'm deferring all money. I'm not receiving a penny from pension right now, or from retirement fund. Melody says Cybertruck is so badly built. Oh, yeah. I heard panels are falling off and stuff. I'm seeing more and more of them. They must be giving them away. What about folks who replace their headlights with LEDs? Is that illegal? If it's the wrong, I think it's color temperature. Is it color temperature? I want to see color temperature. If they're not directed properly, it's a problem. There are lots of issues with them not working properly and failing, especially if they're cheap stuff. Oh. Oh, it looks like we're back. Did it get fixed? I think it got fixed. Possibly, maybe. All right. Boom, boom, boom. And we're back. Okay. Autobiol says all Teslas should be disposed of, but very carefully. Yes, there's a whole concept of battery and fire and danger, Will Robinson. Is it just Teslas? Or you're against Teslas? Let's see here. Okay. French Cowboy says, to expand on my question, can I be charged for drifting around on my... Oh, okay. Yes, you can. So you can be charged for careless driving. You can be charged for drifting, which is stunt driving, all on your private property. Pandapo, thank you. Yeah, there was an issue with Restream, but we're back. French Cowboy says, since when can in parking lot? Since September 12th, 2018, I think it was the day. I think. Which is pretty crazy if that's actually the day, because I think that's the day. And I remember weird stuff. That's sort of how this all works. When did... Let's find out. Let's confirm. When did the HTA amendment for stunt on private property kick in? Looking it up. I love ChatGPT for stuff like this. No. So what was... No. It says July 1st, 2021. I don't think it's correct. Moms Act. So what was introduced on September 12th? There was a two-stage thing. Maybe it's... Unless that was for the mandatory alcohol screening. Yeah, I see here it says on September 12, 2018, a key amendment to Ontario's Highway Traffic Act took place. See, I was right. See, ChatGPT doesn't know crap. I actually fed it the right answer. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm right. See, I knew stuff. Panda Post says Teslas crash because their cameras aren't calibrated. Come on. Can you film in public inside retail stores? That's Keenan Bank. Unless there's signs prohibiting the activity or if you're told to stop. So generally speaking, you can do stuff unless you're told not to. So if there's signs posted, it's a prohibited activity under the Trespass to Property Act, and you can be asked to leave. And if you fail to do so, you can be arrested. So there's things that can happen regarding filming. So yes, you can be told you cannot film in private property, and there's no public. It's not in public in private property. It's private, and there's no reasonable expectation of privacy in public areas. However, there's conditions of use imposed by the person who's in control of the property. It's more complicated than you're not in public-ish, sort of. Depends. I've arrested people for naughty filming in public places. Generally speaking, it's permitted unless otherwise posted or stated. And by the way, if someone just walks up and says, you can't film in here, and they're a representative of the company or the holder of the property, you can't film in there. And then if you, again, refuse, you're in trouble. Matthew Roberts says, when on the 400 series highways and there's a curve with a yellow sign showing a slower speed limit, what about it? Is it caution or temporary speed? It's caution. Yellows are not enforceable speeds. They're cautionary speeds. They're based on the sciencey people, like engineers, telling you if you go above this speed, you might not stay on the road. But it's not enforceable. The white regulated signs are enforceable. Melody says, cheap LEDs don't always work properly with regular headlight reflectors. Good to know. Keenan Bank wants to know if I'm related to Ben Shapiro. Possibly, maybe, but unlikely. I am 6'5". He is not. He has lots of hair. I do not. His voice is higher. I am not a high voice person. I tend to be low. And he doesn't do that. Jack Black, what? I do have a Jack Black beard going on, don't I? That's Armo 3000 wants to know, or made the statement. My name is Steve. I have not seen the movie. Matthew Robert, you're welcome. I don't know what 400 Series a science show. Okay, yes, you're very welcome. I have not seen this movie with the chicken jockey stuff. By the way, I did not post a video, although wanted to post a video, in relation to an idiot father who posted a video saying, because some kids got kicked out of a theater, he trashed the theater after they were escorted out in honor of the people who were kicked out for being dum-dums. So he was a dum-dum who trashed the theater as a grown-up to be a really good example to his children. I think I still have to post the video. I'm so annoyed by this father. And of course, this is all Armo who brought back the flash of me thinking of this because you brought up the movie. Keenan says, did you retire? It says former in your bio. I left the police service in August of 2024. Yeah, 7 months ago. I left just before I turned 50. And technically it's retiring from policing, although it's not retiring in its traditional sense. It is changing your whole world upside down. That's what it is. But I left to take care of my family who need me now. And actually, if I'm going to see my other half, my better half, who's waiting to have a coffee with me, I should probably sign off and say goodnight for the night. For the night? Yeah. D. Sams, losing my voice now. How's it going, Don? How are you doing? Good to see you. TPS 911. Riz Vision says, I double dog dare you to show up to Joker's Comedy Club, Richmond Hill, May 16th and 17th, 7:30. Bring your nightstick. This Riz Vision, who is an accountant and stand-up comedian, is taunting me to attend a comedy club in Richmond. I didn't even know there was a comedy club in Richmond Hill. Oh, actually, that's not true because last time you double dog dared me to go is when you told me. So I guess I did know. Kling says, can you get stunt driving charge on private property in Ontario? Yes, you most certainly can. Sam Carr Legion, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, so you can absolutely be charged for careless driving on private property as well as stunt driving on private property. Okay, with that, I'm going to read a dad joke from Nicholas Rizzi. What do you call a blind dinosaur? I don't know if I should read this. Do you think he... What is this? Do you think he sees us? Do you think he sees us? Do you think he's us? Does that read differently? Like, Do you think he saw us? Does he think he saw us? Oh, I did not hit right. Nicholas Rizzi has another one that's probably better than the last one, but I wasn't bad. Do you think he saw us? Makes more sense when you, yeah. Have you ever met a criminal that you so badly wanted to arrest, but they had diplomatic immunity? That is not a dad joke. That is just a question. And no, I have not. But I would still arrest them because, well, it's not that they're not arrestable. It's that they are returned to their people. They're returned to their respective embassies to be dealt with. It can still be arrested and held. The movies aren't exactly that. So, Canadian Night, just last comment, I guess, is what if it's my private property that I own? Doesn't matter. Just like you can't drink or drive on your own property, you can't stunt drive on your own property. It's just not allowed. All right. Keenan Bank sent a graphic, a gift, a thank you. What is that? A TikTok logo? I didn't actually see the animation because I was looking away. But thank you very much. I appreciate the gifts. That is kind. Not necessary, but it's absolutely appreciated. All right. With that, I'm going to say goodnight because I'm going to go have a coffee and hang out with my lady. You be safe out there. This is the last episode for the week. We'll be back on Tuesday night for another late night episode. But I hope you have a wonderful evening, a happy Easter, and spend some time with the people you love. Drive safe, drive sober, park legally even, because you don't want to mess with the people who give parking tickets, because the leader, or technically not the leader, but we know who's Aaron Urquhart will be upset with you. And Melody, serious, want to get you on the show. If you're on a channel about appliances, you need to be on a channel about cars if you're a mechanic, and I would love to have you join us and spread your wisdom. So reach out to me and we will talk soon. All right, I'm out. Have a good one.